Hey, I'm glad you came back. In this session, we're going to talk about tools for template design for your Macintosh computer. Now, those of us who are Macs versus PCs, we love our Macs, and there are some great tools for doing web design on your Macintosh computer. First off, let's talk about the browser, because really, when it boils down to it, this is the most important thing. There's no contest here. As good as Safari is, Firefox for web design is the best that's out there because of the add-ons that you can get. Firebug, Measure It, Color Picker, and Web Developer Toolbar are four absolutely must-get add-ons if you're going to be serious about template design in your Joomla website. Firebug is a great little tool that allows you to see the underlying HTML, CSS, all in one place, and then play with it so you can try out different things without actually editing your CSS file. Once we get into template design, this is going to be really important. Measure It is just what it sounds like. It's a little ruler that allows you to measure pixel by pixel how big or how wide you need something. Color Picker allows you to determine the web color of any color on your screen. And Web Developer Toolbar gives you just a ton of options that we're going to look at later. One of the optional downloads is FileZilla. If you don't have an FTP client, File Transfer Protocol, we'll talk about that in a bit, FileZilla is a great way to go. We'll demo all of these things as we go through the course. For now, just go get Firefox and then browse the add-ons to get those top four for sure. So that's your browser. Number two, graphic design. Really, the de facto standard here is Photoshop. Just released, Photoshop CS5 is the de facto tool for graphic design for web developers. Couple of things. As you probably already know, Photoshop is expensive. However, it does do just about everything you want except washing your dishes. It is cross-platform, so if you create something on a Mac version of PS5, it can be sent to somebody who is on a PC. You can open it and send them back and forth with no problems. $6.99 for the standalone version. If you have Photoshop CS to CS4, it's a $200 upgrade, which actually isn't bad if you've already made that bigger investment. As we all know, Photoshop is also part of the Web Design Premium for Adobe. That is actually very expensive, $1,800 brand new, $6.99 for the upgrade. For those of us who are on a maybe slightly cheaper budget, GIMP 2.6 for the Mac is a really great tool. It's open source, just like Joomla. It's free. It does almost everything Photoshop does. And again, it's also cross-platform, so you can share files between a Windows PC and a Mac. And it's, again, free. Does a great job. The URL is below the video in the session notes. There's a great article on smashingmagazine.com. By the way, if you're a web designer and you don't read smashingmagazine.com, let me suggest that you do. And the link is right there. It's below the video in the session notes. I encourage you to take a look at that if you're interested in GIMP at all. Once you've got your graphic designed, your basic layout done, sliced up in Photoshop, which we're going to do later on, and all exported out as slices, then you need to make it into a Joomla template. And to do that, you need some kind of text editor. Now, for us on the Mac, we could use Dreamweaver, which we'll look at in a bit. But for free, you can get Text Wrangler, which is a fantastic HTML editor. Recognizes PHP, HTML, XML, and helps you a great deal with converting your Photoshop files into a Joomla template. Oh, and it's free. File Transfer Protocol, FTP, you'll need something like this to get your files up to your web server. You install your template through the extensions installer in Joomla, but for the bigger files, you need FTP, and CyberDuck is free. It's a fantastic program for the Mac. Back to graphical template design that's kind of an all-in-one approach, of course, is Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver takes that sliced up Photoshop file and creates your Joomla template for you. Dreamweaver 5 is $3.99 on its own. It's an upgrade of $199 if you've got a previous version. But again, the CS5 Web Premium is really a great software package. At $1,800, it's a little expensive. One of the great things about the new Dreamweaver CS5 is that Joomla support is built in. you'll be able to use Dreamweaver to build an actual Joomla template, whereas up to this point you've just been building an HTML template and then later on having to convert it to a Joomla template. This is great news for everybody who loves Dreamweaver, everybody who loves Joomla. This could be a really great ticket for you if you're familiar with this piece of software. Another all-in-one tool that's more text-based is Coda. Coda is $99, which isn't too expensive as far as software goes. It has a text editor better than Text Wrangler. It has FTP built in, SVN. It has a graphical CSS editor as well as a text-based CSS editor, an SSH terminal application, and what's really cool, books that are included so you can look up some of those things that you may have forgotten, and lots more. I encourage you to go to their website to check that out. So what are my recommendations? Well, if you've got an unlimited budget, Adobe Web Premium is really cool. It's $1,800 if you don't have a previous version, $600 for the upgrade. Let me encourage you to not go out and steal one, although they're all over the place. It's worth getting your own version for the support and the upgrade later on. It has Dreamweaver, Flash Professional, Photoshop Extended, Illustrator, Acrobat, Fireworks, and more. And you can read all about it at adobe.com. If you're on a slightly lower budget, or no budget, here are the things I would look at. GIMP, again, free. Text Wrangler and CyberDuck, both free. These are great pieces of software. Coda, for $99, is really a good deal, as you saw in the demo a few minutes ago. Well, that's OS X software that you need today to get started in our template class.